Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Wednesday night Hatha Flow class. Hope you're well. I'm really apologise if any of you turned up or wanted to turn up for the Monday night class. Neither Will nor I were able to teach on Monday night or Tuesday mornings because of a funny, I don't know, some kind of food poisoning or something, which actually hasn't left yet, but I feel well enough to teach. So apologies for that. And you will have seen on the screensaver that there are a lot of props for this class. If you can, obviously not absolutely essential, but if you've got a piece of wall or a chair handy, if you've got a brick, a block, a bolster, and most importantly, really, if you've got about 4 blankets that you can fold neatly and place one upon the other, that will be lovely for the final part of the class. So if you haven't gathered all that already, please do. And and come to a seated position. We're going to start sitting. Make yourselves comfortable. And just a quick word about the class. So you know that we've been working up all the energy centers or the chakras, energy vortices over this 6-week block. We're in week 5. So we moved up from the root, Muladhara, to the Svadhisthana in the pelvis, to the solar plexus. Last week we were on the heart space. Now we come up to the throat. And it is worth just considering what we're doing here when we work with the throat at a physiological level, and the neck at a physiological level. And those of you who are repeating the gentle class in this class, you're going to hear it all again. That's okay. At a physiological level, the neck is part of the body that we really take for granted. It's an incredibly sensitive, fragile, vulnerable part of the body that effectively connects our brain and all of what that means with the rest of our body through essential arteries, lymph vessels, nerves, obviously, spinal fluid, and our vocal cords are here. Our vocal cords are here. So there's a lot going on. Our thyroid gland is here, which controls our whole metabolism. So there's a lot going on in this area, physiologically, emotionally. And then energetically, in terms of the chakras, the throat chakra is yet again dealing with even more subtle energy as we come up from the earth, water, fire, air last week in the heart space. In the throat space, in the Vishuddha Chakra, we're working with the element of ether, which is kind of quite intangible. And the whole point of Hatha Yoga, even if we're flipping ourselves around our mat doing vinyasas, etc., is to enable a steady direction of a flow of prana, energy, from our rootedness up through these subtle realms, up the spine, up through the top of the head. So we become more and more subtly aware of ourselves in the universe and what that might mean. And so when we come up the body into these more subtle areas, the practice becomes more subtle perhaps. It'll be quite a methodical practice today. And one of the reasons for that is because of the vulnerability of the neck. And I know you know who you are, that once when I taught a shoulder stand in the river, maybe not enough care was taken by me or by you to really protect the neck. And we can think about this symbolically, we can think about it physically. So we will be working towards shoulder stand, maybe plow, and you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, and I'll give lots of variations. But essentially the practice today is to very carefully prepare us to come into the inversion of shoulder stand and plow. One more thing to say, vocal cords are here, and the symbolism, if you like, the energy around the Vishuddha Chakra is related to our voice, to what it means for us to be heard in the world. Is that something that's free? Is it easy? Or are we a little bit blocked in this area? Do maybe we feel our voice is quietened or muted? So I think we all know what that might mean for us, and it will vary from day to day. Please come to an easy seat, close your eyes, and drop your attention into the body and the breath. I've said a lot, but now let's practice and experience the poses, experience the breath. And the first thing I'd like you to do is to soften the insides of your mouth, the roof of your mouth, your throat, the root of your tongue. Notice how by doing this you might create more space, but also a sense of release in the jaw. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears and soften all the tissues of your face. And if you'd like to experiment with this, take the tip of your tongue to the point at which your upper teeth meet your palate. You can create a stability around this area. And breathe. If you like to breathe an ujjayi breath, you could bring a gentle ujjayi into your practice, feeling the resonance of the air moving over your vocal cords. So we come into direct contact with this aspect of the voice. And very briefly, bringing your attention to the base of your spine, the root of your body, and following your spine all the way up, as if you're breathing little pockets of air in between each vertebra, past the kidneys, the shoulder blades, until you come to the neck. And you'll come inside the skull, visualizing where the skull is lightly perched on top of the spine. And then bringing your attention to the tips of your ears and lifting them ever so slightly up and then back. I'm talking millimeters. And the effect we're looking for is length in the back of the neck. And as you create length in the back of the neck, what might it feel like to draw your lower jaw a few millimeters back? Maybe you feel a little engagement in the throat. And breathe. So something else which is related to the Vishuddha Chakra that we're working with here is the third bandha or energy harness. If you remember, we worked with the pelvic floor, the Mula bandha. We worked with the respiratory diaphragm, the hovering hawk of the Uddiyana bandha. But there's another membrane of the throat, the Jalandhara bandha. Jala means net, like a filter in Sanskrit. This is what we're subtly tuning into now as we draw the lower jaw slightly back. Chin will move ever so slightly towards the sternum, but you're not curling your head down. The back of the neck stays straight. Taking one more breath in here, and then breathing out, open your eyes and releasing the head. So we're going to do a lot of practice to enhance our awareness of this area of the body. All I'd like you to do for now is take a breath in, feeling lovely and long in the spine. And as you breathe out, now really do take your chin right into your chest. And as you breathe in, lift your head gently and lift your chin to open the throat. And as you breathe out, slowly come down. So you're really tuning into every vertebra of the neck, as well as maybe experiencing an engagement in the throat. Please take 3 more like that. Maybe still breathing Ujjayi. And when you've taken your final exhalation, chin to your chest, bring your head to neutral. Take a breath in here, and then exhale, look over to the left. So we're going to love our necks. Feel into the neck very subtly. Breathing in when you're ready to the front. Breathe out to the right. And take a few rounds like this, very subtly feeling into the neck. Keep softening and dropping the shoulders. And then when you're ready, once you've come back to neutral, that is, please just take a moment to feel the body, feel the breath. Sometimes with a class with a lot of detail like this, we can get too caught up in our heads. So let's keep this really physical. Come onto your backs, please. Knees bent, feet on the floor, arms by your sides. And just for a moment, in fact, you could take your hands behind the skull to slide the skull up the mat a little to find that length in the back of the neck. Should feel quite nice. And notice how your chin moves towards the chest, but you're not bringing the chin right in, you're not curling it in, you're not creating lots of chins. But maybe you feel a nice lengthening in the back of the neck. And all we're going to do is come into some moving bridges and use the moving bridge, the movement and the pose to bring more awareness to the throat. So as you breathe in, begin to lift your arms, lift the body and tilt your head back so the chin comes back and you open. You might pause when you're up here and then breathing out bone by bone and with your arms come all the way down and lengthen the back of the neck. And that's all you're going to do for a few rounds. Opening as you lift. Ujjayi if that feels good. And closing as you breathe out and come down. Keep going. Some of you may notice as you exhale and come down that there's a simultaneous lift from the pelvic floor and the respiratory diaphragm as all 3 of these bandhas directing the flow of energy up the spine are engaged, and we open on the inhale. It's very subtle. You don't need to focus on that part of the practice at all. It's for people who are looking for more advanced practice, a more subtle practice is what I mean by advanced. I'm not interested in the fancy postures necessarily. Can you take 2 more moving bridges and then rest on your back? And when you come to resting on your back, can you really notice how your shoulders roll out? You can become really heavy in the back of the ribs, heavy in the back of the pelvis. Take a breath or 2 here. And then we'll interlace our hands behind the head, and we're going to very gently do exactly what we've been doing, but on the exhale, when you come down, you'll be drawing the head up with the hands, elbows towards each other. And this is the first health warning with the neck. Please don't tug or pull the neck. As you breathe in, press into your feet and lift your hips, your spine, roll the head back a little. As you breathe out, come down bone by bone and begin to peel your shoulders and upper back and head off the mat. Elbows come towards each other. Abdominal core's working. Inhale, head rolls back. You lift yourself up. Imagine your arms as butterfly wings. And breathe out, come down, lifting the head. Can you take a few more very subtle? This is much about the energy body in this practice. Well, it always is, but very explicitly about the energy body and not only our physical body, muscles, bones, etc. We're giving our thyroid gland a beautiful massage as we do this. Let's take one more full round. And then gently release the head down. Take a moment to feel the body. Lovely and heavy in the arms, in the back of the ribs. And then lifting your arms to vertical, your palms are facing. I want you to really feel the back of the ribs, the shoulder blades on the floor. And then feel as if someone's lifting through your fingertips, lifting your arms out of the shoulder sockets towards the ceiling, your fingers. And as you exhale, root them back down again. So I'm interested in you becoming aware of the upper arm bones moving, articulating with the shoulder joints. So we do this in preparation for handstand, but we're not doing that today, but it's still really useful for opening out the shoulder area. Take another breath in, and then as you breathe out, take your arms out in a cactus shape. So that your elbows are level with your shoulders, your palms are facing up. And really drop now. I want you to feel the mat through the back of the ribs, the shoulders, the upper arms, and the back of the hands, and breathe. A few breaths here. And then from here, opening your arms out in a T shape. And bring your knees into your chest, inhale. And as you exhale, take your knees to the left. And this is all very gentle, we will build it up. Don't worry if you're wanting more of a workout, it will happen. I want you to listen carefully because we're going to come into a very fluid moving twist. This is exactly the same as the gentle class for the moment. Turn the right palm down and begin to slide it along the floor until it reaches the body. Slide it over the body and then rock the upper body forwards to the floor. Your right palm will brush over the left palm. And then at that point, turn the palm to face the ceiling. And keep sweeping over the head so that you're always in contact with something. Turn the palm down and then bring it towards the body again. Sweeping to the left, turn your palm over. And this should be for anybody who gets really tight in the shoulder. This is a really beautiful, fluid way of releasing. Please keep going in your own time. Don't be in a hurry, be quite methodical. It's a methodical practice. And at some point you may like to stay open to the right, both palms facing up. Really dropping through that right shoulder and shoulder blade. That same softness in the mouth and the face. Breathe. And then bringing your head back to neutral, lift the right knee followed by the left. And then drop both feet to the floor, come to a neutral spine. And we'll take that delicate moving twist to the other side, bringing your knees into your chest, inhale. As you exhale, rock them to the right. Look to the left and turn the palm down. And then begin sweeping that hand towards you, up over the body as you roll over to the right. When your left palm reaches the right palm, begin to turn it over to face the ceiling and sweep it around. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? And keep going, palm comes down. Keep going a few big lazy circles before you take a few breaths lying open to the left. Releasing down through that left shoulder. Head back to neutral, lift the left knee followed by the right. And then drop both feet and just for a moment slide both feet away. Feel the body. Feel the support beneath you. Sometimes it's nice to have a relaxing beginning to a class. And then when you're ready, knees into your chest. Have a little roll around and meet me your way in an all fours position. Lovely. So we'll come back to that throat harness, that Jalandhara chakra, bandha, in a simple cat-cow movement. So cat-cow, don't fling yourself into it. We're going to feel it from the throat. So from the throat, inhale and open the throat, lift your chin and just allow the rest of the spine to follow. And exhale. Find length in the back of the neck. Chin comes in a little. You can push the back of your ribs up. Be subtle with this. And continue and notice again if there's a correspondence between a gentle lift from the floor of the pelvis with the respiratory diaphragm and this throat harness. This is all on the exhale that you'll experience that. At some point on the exhale, you might like to bring yourself back to child. You could either stay there a couple of breaths, chin drawn in long in the back of the neck, or you might like to move between your cat-cow movement and child. And you can continue doing that, or you might like to add a downward dog. So I'll leave you for a few moments to come into that very gentle spinal flow. Cat-cow to child, to cat-cow to downward dog. All the while focusing on the throat and the softness inside your mouth. And then if you're not there already, meeting me in a downward dog. And take 5 breaths here, really drawing the sitting bones up, but feeling a length in the back of the neck. Tops of the thighs up and back. On the next inhale, ripple forwards to plank. And choose your way down to the mat. Drop your knees if you need to and roll all the way down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back to peel the chest up. Head comes last. Remember the throat. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, downward dog. Take a breath here. Inhale, back to plank again. And exhale, come down to your belly, your way. And slide your arms forwards so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders or further forwards if you need to. And from here in Sphinx, let's create that length at the back of the neck. So you're not taking your chin right in, you're not flinging your head back. And then we'll take the gentle movement with the neck like we did when we were sitting. On an inhale, lift your chin a little. And on an exhale, draw it down, but without bending the neck. Jaw draws back. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, chin comes in, jaw draws back. Let's take one more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Take one more breath in. And then as you breathe out, take your elbows out, come all the way down, hands down to your ribs. Breathe into all fours. And breathe out, downward dog. Beautiful. Take a full breath in here. And then meet me sitting on your heels. And grab yourself a belt. And we'll do 2 or 3 things with our belt. This is all to prepare and open the shoulders and the neck, throat. So grab your belt behind you and make sure that as you hold on to it, you're turning the palms of your hands out to the side. So you're externally rotating the shoulders, and you have a little squeeze of the shoulder blades here. And all we're going to do, without flaring the ribs out, is begin to lift your arms behind you. So you're not sticking your belly and your chest out. Got nice abdominal strength here. As you open the chest, you squeeze the shoulder blades together. And your chin is drawn delicately in. Breathe here a few breaths. You only come as high up behind you as works for you. Breathe. One more breath in. And then release, breathe out. Release the belt. I'm going to use it in a minute, but first of all, I'm going to interlace our hands behind our backs and bring them around clasped to our right waist. You can encourage your elbows together. Take a breath in and find that length in the back of the neck. And then as you breathe out, Take your right shoulder and ear towards each other and drop the left shoulder and take your eyes up to the far left. So this for me is one of my favorite ways of accessing all the tissues of the neck. You might want to move your head around slightly to find the sweet spot. There's so much tension, isn't there? You might want to open and close your mouth. See how you're doing that. I feel like a tortoise when I do that. How that releases some of the tension. One more breath in. Long breath out. And then release. Head comes back to neutral. Let's take that to the other side. So we're really squeezing the hands and the elbows towards each other. Take a breath in. Left shoulder to left ear. Drop the right shoulder. Take your eyes up to the right. And do whatever you want to do with your mouth. If you're like me, it's really nice to open and close the jaw. Breathe and feel into it. So good. One more breath in. And then breathe out, release. Head to neutral. Take your hands to your thighs and take a moment. If you want to roll the shoulders, that's fine. Then I'd like us, before we come into some flow, to take Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms, which is this. You may or you may not want to use a belt. So let's start by taking the left arm up. Bend the arm and take the right hand to the elbow. And gently encourage with pressure on the elbow, your fingertips down in between the shoulder blades. Something I'd like to say about this pose is there's a tendency to stick the ribs out. Again, soften the front ribs. You keep all of the work going on in the shoulder. You don't kid your body by just sticking the ribs out to find access. This may be where you want to stay. Or you take the right arm out, turn the palm away, internal rotation, and bring the arm behind the back. Maybe hold on to the belt, or it may be that you, and it varies from day to day, are able to clasp your hands together. And then whichever version you're in here, remember to soften the front ribs. Remember the length in the back of your neck. And allow a little bit of a pull between the elbows. Breathe. So good. I know it's not everybody's favourite. Keep moving the left arm as far behind the ear as possible. Might need to take your head out of the way. Take one more breath in. And then release, breathe out. And do anything you need to do, maybe wrists, maybe shoulders. And then take that to the other side your way. Remember, we start by bending up the right elbow, using the left hand to press it down. If you want to take the full pose, left arm out to the side, thumb faces down. And reach it behind you. And each arm will feel different. This is so much easier. So basically, if you're right-handed, it's much harder usually to take the right arm behind, but you might be different. And you can wriggle around a little bit, find that sweet spot so you're able to really settle and pull the elbows apart, soften the front ribs, breathe. You come back to that sense of softness in the throat, inside the mouth, a little bit of a smile. One more breath in, and then breathe out, release. Have Have a little roll around and take a moment to simply feel the residue from what we've done to the neck and the shoulders. And then join me in a downward dog. And pressing into the left hand, take the right hand underneath the body to hold onto the outside of the left leg. We'll take a little twist in our dog. I want you to be really strong now in that left arm and shoulder as you begin to look under the left armpit. Pulling yourself through, both feet are pressing towards the floor. Breathe fully. Breathe space into the body. One more breath in. And then breathe out to release the right hand down and change sides. Strong in the right arm. Spiral your way under that right armpit and breathe. Beautiful. One more breath in. And then breathe out. Place both hands down. Ripple forwards to plank. Breathe in. And breathe out. Stay here. Pushing the back of your ribs up towards the ceiling and finding that length in the back of your neck. Chin drawn in slightly. One more breath in. Please choose your way down to the mat. Breathe out. You might like to hover in Chaturanga Dandasana. You might take an upward dog or a cobra. Breathe in. And then find your downward dog. Breathe out. Lovely. And then looking in between your hands, step your left foot forwards. Bring your right heel down. We're going to come up into variation of warrior one. Find the stability here and come all the way up. Breathe in. Breathe out, draw the tailbone down, strong in the legs. Roll the shoulders up to the ears and back again, and maybe you can clasp your hands. If not, hold the elbows, or you've got your belt like we did before when we were kneeling. And take a moment here. Take a moment here to really roll the shoulders back, lift the chest and open the throat. Drawing your arms behind you. Make it juicy, make it delicious. Take a breath in and then breathe out, lead with the heart and pour yourself down inside that front leg. Humble warrior. And then breathing in, come up. And breathe out, cascade forwards again. Let's do one more breathing in. And breathing out. Take a breath in here. And then as you breathe out, drop your hands to your lower back and inside the front foot. And walk your way around to the long end of your mat. Heels are out, toes are in. Walk your hands out in front of you so your spine is long. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Take a full breath in to find that length and then draw yourself through as far in between your legs as possible. And create that space at the back of the neck, chin drawn in a little bit, jaw drawn back. Keep lifting your sitting bones up behind you, tops of your thighs lifting up and back. One more full breath in and a long breath out. And then walk your way back into a downward dog. Beautiful. Slow and methodical practice. Breathe into plank. Breathe out, choose your way down. Choose either an upward dog or a cobra. Breathe in. And downward dog. Step your right foot forwards, please. Left heel comes down. And bring yourself all the way up, that lovely stability in the lower body. Roll the shoulders up and back to find your hands. Slide them past the tailbone. And before we cascade, before we tumble into our humble warrior, really draw the shoulder blades and open the chest. Feel the stability of the lower body. Take a breath in. And then lead with the chest and pull yourself forwards inside that right knee. And breathe in, come up. And breathe out, come down. And last time, breathe in, come up. And breathe out, come down. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop your hands to your lower back and then inside the front foot. And bring your way around to that wide angled forward fold again. Heels are out, toes are in. And you can start with your spine long and parallel with the floor to find length. And then on an exhale, draw yourself through. And just notice what's going on in the shoulders, the neck, the back of the ribs. And breathe. One more full breath in and a long breath out. And bring yourself back to a downward dog. Lovely. If the downward dogs and the vinyasas are too much, you rest in child. Inhale forwards to plank. Exhale, come down your way. Inhale, choose your back bend. And exhale, downward dog. Please step your left foot in between your hands, but this time come into a low lunge or a runner's lunge. Pushing that back heel out behind you, lifting your belly and chest away from the thigh. Roll the shoulders back, long in the back of the neck. And you're welcome to keep the back knee down or up as you inhale and you come all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands behind the head. Breathe here, space into the armpits. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your arms. And exhale, bring down the right heel, straighten the front leg. And check that your legs are about heeled, your feet are about heel to heel. And we're going to take triangle to the left. So reach, reach, reach to the left. Inhale. Exhale, hinge and bring your hand down where it's right for you. And then I'd like you just to drop that right arm and shoulder. Incidentally, if you feel your feet are too wide apart, bring the back foot in a bit. And we're going to, just like we did in that lazy twist, we're going to make big circles with that right arm. Beautiful. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. And at some point, stay open in your Utthita Trikonasana. Hopefully quite a nice open experience after what we've been doing. Feel the right shoulder blade on the back. One more breath in. Breathe out, look down and bring yourself back into that lunge. Lift the back heel. And then one more time, lift your arms up. Your back knee can be down or up. Palms together. Exhale, hands behind you. Lift your arms up, inhale. Exhale, find a downward dog. Well done. Inhale forwards to plank. Exhale, choose your way down. Inhale, find your back bend. Exhale, downward dog. Wonderful. And step the right foot in between your hands, please. Find your lunge, really push back through that back heel, belly, chest away from the thigh. Slide the shoulders down the back. And breathe in, come up. Your back knee can be down or up. Palms pressing together, breathe out, hands behind your head, and take a couple of breaths here. Keep softening the front ribs. Press the heels of your hands together. And then inhale, arms come up. Exhale, legs straight, drop the left heel. Heel to heel, maybe bring the back foot in a bit. And then breathe in, lengthen to the right. Long, long, long. And hinge. Drop that left shoulder. And in your own time, make huge, sweeping, breathing circles. And take them in the opposite direction. Until you're ready to open into full Utthita Trikonasana. Strong legs, open heart, left shoulder blade on the back. Feel the pose. Breathe. One more breath in. And then breathe out, look down and find that lunge. Beautiful. Back knees down or up. Whoa. As you inhale and you come up, palms together. Exhale, hands behind the head. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, meet me in a downward dog. And take a breath here, feel the body. If you need to rest in child, please do. Otherwise, come with me for another vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale, come down your way. Choose your back bend. A lot of vinyasas coming in cheekily today. And exhale, come down. Inhale, push yourself to all fours. Exhale, downward dog. Take 3 breaths here. Take a full breath in. And then exhaling, drop your knees. Come to sit on your heels. Take a moment to feel the body. And then if you're able to, taking your hands behind you, pressing into your fingertips. And beginning to lift the chest and really squeeze the shoulder blades in together. And here, let's take the chin up a little bit to find opening in the throat. Inhale and then exhale. Create length in the back of the neck as you encourage the chin in. So notice you're not curling the neck, but you've got a lovely open chest and an engagement of the throat all at the same time. Breathe. Releasing the roof of the mouth, the throat, and the tongue. One more breath in. And then use your breath out to straighten and feel the body now. Come up high. Curl your toes under. We're going to come straight into Ustrasana, camel pose. And it may mean for you that you keep your hands on your lower back and you explore the back bend that way. Chin stays in for now. Or it may be you take a hand to each heel. It's going to entirely depend on you.
Can you draw your inner thighs towards each other? Lift the pubic bone, and then from there, encourage the pelvis forwards. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift the chin a little. And then exhale, draw it back in again. And take 5 breaths in whichever camel pose you're in. No need to take your hands back to your feet at all. One more breath in. Use your breath out to straighten and to sit back on your heels, and take a moment here. Maybe take your hands onto the heart space and feel the heart beating. Feel the breath, feel the body. My heart's going crazy. Beautiful. Okay. So you're going to need a few props now. Like you, I think we've got time to do this. Yeah. We'll come into shoulder stand at the end, but I'd like to do a couple of other things first. If you have a belt or something like a belt, hopefully it's long enough, can you make a loop with it? So this is as long as loop as possible. And then I'd like you to take your head onto something elevated. I've got a blue block. Don't want it to be too high. You're going to place the back of your head on the block. Have the belt handy. Don't need it yet. Legs are extended. So we did this in the gentle class. This is another kind of awareness exercise. Drop through the back of the shoulders. And by having the block here, we help ourselves create length in the back of the neck. Can you notice how the chin comes in and there's a sense of a lift up through the throat? And we're going to enhance this even more by holding onto the edges of the mat and pulling towards our heels. Not sure if you can feel that. Keep breathing. It's just a sense of lengthening the back of the neck. Sense of a little bit of suction, even like a little vacuum. Going up the throat, the roof of the mouth. Breathe. Ujjayi if you want to. One more breath in, and then let go. Breathe out. Now the next pose we used to do sometimes in the river room, and is a little bit odd. If it's just not going to work for you, come to a very simple seated forward fold. Otherwise, I'd like you to bring your knees in towards you and take part of the belt that doesn't involve the buckle behind your head. So it's kind of got a nice grasp at the back of the skull. And take the other end of the belt over your feet. I know this is bizarre, but it's really nice. And the belt needs to be long enough so that you can straighten your legs. And the push of the feet in the belt will be enough to lift your head. So you just allow your arms down. And this actually can be a really restorative way of opening into all the little muscles in the neck, the upper back and the shoulders. People are surprised by this. But there needs to be a balance. You need to be able to have the, can't think of the right word in physics, but the right push-pull between the head and the feet to be able to rest. Can you let go here and just dangle? And it suddenly occurred to me, for those of us who have eye pressure issues, This is a wonderful dangling type of forward fold. If we can't stand with our upper bodies dangling down for too long, this is really lovely. Keep breathing. So I'd like to keep us here longer. If you really love this, you can practice this at home. It's totally in line with the theme of this class, but apart from that, it's just a really beautiful release of the tissues in the upper body, as well as actually being a very gentle hamstring stretch here. But we need to come out. So gently bend your knees, hold on to the belt so you can release your head back onto the block. Release the belt from the head and then the feet, and bring your feet down. And just for a moment, slide your feet away, take the block away, and feel the whole body lying on the mat. So the time has come to have a little play with our shoulder stands. Now, it may well be that you're very confident in your shoulder stand and you want to do it your way. I'm going to teach it with absolute utmost caution for obvious, well, we should anyway, but for obvious reasons that I'm not with you in the room. So please have your blankets ready. I just made a mess of mine, having made them so beautiful. They need to be quite tidily folded, not like this now because I've just messed them up. But anyway, the point is to have a nice flat elevated surface. And bring your chair, we'll do the chair version first. If you know that you have any issues with your neck at all, and you've been advised, or you've eye pressure issues, if you've been advised not to do shoulder stand, please lie flat on your back and take your legs up a wall, or take your legs onto a chair. Otherwise, have your blankets ready, take your legs onto a chair, and make sure that you're in the right position, your chair on the mat so it doesn't slip, for you to be able to lie back and hold the legs of your chair. And your head needs to be on the floor, and your shoulders need to be about 10 centimeters towards the chair from the edge of the blanket, because when you come up, they are going to slide back. And please remember that a shoulder stand is a shoulder stand and not a neck stand. And whatever you do, don't move your head from side to side. Keep your head absolutely still. Holding on to the legs of your chair. Bring your feet onto the edge of the chair. And as you push your feet and you pull your hands on the legs, you can bring yourself into a version of shoulder stand, which is more like a bridge. You can roll the shoulder blades together, the upper arms and shoulders roll around, and keep nice space in the throat. And you might really like it here for quite a long time, or you might want to come down. I'm coming out. So that's one variation. It's really, really lovely if you want to prepare the body for shoulder stand, but you're not confident enough to come fully into it, to practice with a chair like that. The other option, please don't look at me if you're in a pose. Please come out of it to look at me. The other option is to use the wall. I'm just going to move the camera so you can see the wall. So the principle of the blankets and the shoulders is identical to what you did with the chair. But here, you're taking your bottom about 6 inches away from the wall, resting your head and your shoulders back down, head on the floor. And your arms can be fingertips could be pointing towards the wall as you walk your feet up the wall. Now what's happened to me is I've realised my shoulders are too far back. I'm sliding off the blanket, so I'm going to adjust. And it may be you come up high enough to take your hands onto your lower back. And again, roll the shoulders out, squeeze the shoulder blades together in all those ways we've been doing. And keep moving the pelvis out behind you. Please don't move your head. And that is another variation. It's very safe. And it may be where you want to be for your shoulder stand. So you have the option of practicing with the chair, practicing with the wall, or simply practicing with the blanket. And what's wonderful about the elevation of the blankets is that it really keeps the neck free. So we take all the pressure off the neck. So my lovely friend who did hurt her neck, I hope this is working for you. I've been thinking about you as I prepared this class. If you want to come into the pose with just the blankets, I hope you can follow all this. It's really hard to know because I can't see you all. I hope all the variations are working for you. Please let me know. If you're going to come without the wall or the chair, rest your head on it. We've got lots of time. Rest your head on the floor. Enough space from your shoulders to the edge of the blankets that when you come up, they won't come off the end. And then simply push yourself up. Head rests on the floor as you walk your hands down your back. See if you can bring your elbows as close as you can. Some people like to tie a belt around their upper arms to keep the upper arms parallel. And keep walking the hands up the back. Shoulder blades drawn together. And if you're loving your shoulder stands, you can do lots of things. You can take your legs apart. You can bring the soles of your feet together. I'm coming out, but I'm going to leave you to play for a few breaths in your variation that you've chosen out of all of that. Taking deep breaths now. It's a very restorative pose, shoulder stand. Very rejuvenating. Breathe. When you come out of your shoulder stand, remember not to move your head at all from side to side, that is. Come down very, very slowly, lifting your head as you come. Come all the way up because you've got all those blankets behind you. And just drape yourself over your knees. Just for a moment, really simple. And then remove all the blankets and for a moment come all the way down to lie with your back flat. We'll come into supported fish in a moment. And come back to that sense of your throat, the length in the back of your neck. And the body can feel quite vulnerable, I think, quite exposed, quite loose after shoulder stand. So take a few breaths to allow it to settle. You can slide your feet away. Some of you may have come into plough pose, which I didn't teach. That's an absolute archetypal massage of the thyroid glands. And then just as a counter pose and as our last pose before we come into relaxation, I'm I'm going to teach a supported fish, or you might have another way of coming into your fish. I'm using a brick, but you could use a rolled up blanket. I'm placing it around the level of the bra strap or kind of around the back of the ribs, wherever works for you, in order to create an elevation of the chest. Head must touch the floor. If it doesn't, put it on something. Take your arms behind you. Legs can be extended or soles of the feet together. Knees out to the side. And this should be comfortable, even though you've got a brick maybe cutting into you. Try and adjust it so that you're able to release and enjoy an opening in the throat, an opening in the chest, and a softness throughout the whole body. Breathe. And trust your prop if you're using one. Keep thinking of all your mum's bricks, Jane, when I do this. I hope they found happy homes. This is wonderful for flooding the lungs with oxygen. It really helps us breathe fully. And you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. I'm going to take you into one more relaxation posture and a breathing practice to round up with. So if you want to come with me, bring your knees together, roll yourself very gently off your brick or whatever you're on. And take a couple of breaths on the side of your body in a recovery position. And then you may want to lie flat on your back, or you may like to, as I'm going to do, have a bolster or a long cushion lifted with a brick at the end, maybe a blanket over the top. So we come into a very restorative end of the class, which allows us to let all the benefits of what we've been doing in this throat area of the body flood the rest of the body. Your legs could be long, or the soles of your feet could be together. First of all, settle. And then I'll guide you through a little bit of a breathing practice before leaving you quiet. So we've done a lot in this practice. Can you allow yourself to drop now a little into the body, if you're with me? Let go of your ujjayi. Feel the length of the back of your neck and the softness in your mouth and your throat. And breathe. Become very, very soft behind your eyes. Maybe even smiling subtly, internally and externally. And you have a choice of simply staying here like this, breathing naturally, or following my instructions into Viloma Pranayama, which is a simple breath control exercise. I want you to visualize a staircase. Most of you have done this with me before. And on the inhalation, we're going to go up the staircase bit by bit, pausing on the steps as we pause the breath, and then inhale a bit more. Don't do it yet. When we come to the top of the staircase, there's a lovely long banister to slide down with the exhale, or maybe you prefer the image of a ski slope or even a ski jump that you can just, at the end of the exhale, sweep off the end of. So take a normal breath in and out. And then when you're ready to inhale, take a sip in of breath and stop. And then breathe in again and stop and breathe in again. Keep doing this until you fill the lungs but not to bursting point. And then exhale down that slope or that banister. Watching the end of the exhale. And take a normal breath in and out. And then we do that again. Breathing up the steps, you find your rhythm. And breathe out all the way down. Remember to pause in between the little breaths in. Follow to the end of the exhale. Take another normal breath in and out. And then continue. You can do 2 or 3 more rounds before just lying still. Stay soft, don't strain this breath in any way. Make it subtle if you can. And when you come towards the end, if your knees have been out to the side, bring them together and slide your legs away. And come to resting now. Normal, natural breath. And if you're up on a bolster, up on a cushion, gently rolling off to one side. If you're lying on your back, bringing your knees into your chest and rolling over so that you're all able to join me in an easy seat with your eyes closed. And we're back where we started, nice and long in the back of the neck, soft in the face. And take your final few breaths of this practice to simply notice how you're feeling.
Notice what it feels like to breathe and the sensation of air on your skin. And then bringing your hands together in Anjali Mudra in front of the heart space. And taking a full breath in here. And as you breathe out, bowing your head chin to your chest. And with the breath in, lifting your head gently and opening your eyes. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I'd love to know how that was for you. I don't often teach shoulder stand. And yeah, but it's just such a lovely pose if you are able to come into it. So do let me know. I'm here to answer any questions, to just say hello.